Very few of us have our strategic vision for our life. Very few of us have our strategic vision that covers almost all the areas and the aspect of life that the Sunnah of Islam needs. Very few of us even have a strategy for our vision. And very few, or close to zero of us, have documented what we are going to do this year to present to God Almighty Allah in Laylatul Qadr. I'm not here to give information on Laylatul Qadr. I'm only here to motivate you that please, before Laylatul Qadr, we are to start looking for it. After 2 or 3 days later, within the last 10 days of Ramadan, we are to ensure that the entirety of the night we use it for worship. And as we worship within the night, we are to ensure that this sunnatullah that Allah Azza wa Jalla declared in His budget and His plan to the angels, we also enter into that mood. We are to code the targets, the goals, objectives, our strategies, we are to code them onto our heart. Our mind cannot take it. We are to code them onto our heart and scan through the Quran and choose certain du'as from the Quran. Scan through the Sunnah and choose certain du'as from the Sunnah. And as we proclaim them with our tongues, it will activate the pictorial images in our mind, and it will also activate the desires in our heart to encapsulate the numerous and the non-limited list of our desires on our plan. As you raise your hand and say, رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيَا حَسَنَةً وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ حَسَنَةً رَبَّنَا آتِنَا مِن لَّدُنكَ رَحْمَةً وَهَيِّئْ لَنَا مِنْ أَمْرِنَا رَشَدًا رب اجعلني مقيم الصلاة ومن ذريتي ربنا وتقبل دعاء ربنا اغفر لي ولوالدي وللمؤمنين يوم يقوم الحساب رب اجعلني مقيم الصلاة ومن ذريتي ربنا وتقبل دعاء رب هب لي حكما وألحقنا بالصالحين رب زدني علما رب اشرح لي صدري ربنا وسعت كل شيء رحمة وعلما فاغفر للذين. As you recite these du'as from the Quran, you activate your desires, encode them. Do you have something to tell Allah? The easiest thing you could have told Allah was رَبَّنَا آتِنَا مِن لَدُنْكَ رَحْمَةً وَهَيِّئْ لَنَا مِنْ أَمْرِنَا رَشَدًا. That called all your desires and everything under this one. So as your tongue says it, then your heart will also be desiring for those things. But ensure that you don't show God Almighty Allah the way. Tell Allah the ultimate destination. And that destination should be a means of rida Allah. That is the only thing you should say. When you are designing a strategic vision, that point that will connect you to rida Allah is the most important thing, but not you showing Allah Azza wa Jal the route. My brother, my sister who is listening to me, ensure that you are going to sit down to have a strategy. Do the SWOT analysis of your life. Do your SWOT analysis based on your vision. In the language of business management and leadership, they will call it SWOT analysis. In the language of Islam, we will call it istighfar. Do istighfar. That is a tool to the achievement of your vision, but SWOT analysis understands istighfar more than you do. Peter Droga and Co, they understand istighfar more than you do. Look at your strength that God Almighty Allah has given to you, then you have underutilized those particular strengths and ask for forgiveness from Allah Azza wa Jalla, for that is the highest level of istighfar done by the prophets. All the prophets, they ask for istighfar. The Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, all his past and future is forgiven. But then he asks for istighfar. Why? It is because of SWOT analysis. He looks at his strength. And then looks at how he has underutilized the strength and then ask for forgiveness from Allah Azza wa Jal. You look at your weaknesses and then see how you can develop other things to replace the weaknesses. You look at the opportunities, open your eye very well and try to implement Quran chapter 14 verse 34. وَآتَاكُم مِّن كُلِّ مَا سَأَلْتُمُوهُ وَإِن تَعُدُّوا
وَآتَاكُم مِّن كُلِّ مَا سَأَلْتُمُوهُ وَإِن تَعُدُّوا نِعْمَةَ اللَّهِ لَا تُحْصُوهَا إن الإنسان لظلوم كفار.
Open your eyes to look at your environment. Peter Drucker says that resources is that competence and the ability to ascribe functions to those materials at your disposal. It's not anything far away from you. This same statement in the language of the Quran is وَآتَاكُم مِّن كُلِّ مَا سَأَلْتُمْ. Everything that you have asked of Him, God Almighty Allah, for you to succeed, that He has given to you. وَإِن تَعُدُّوا نِعْمَةَ اللَّهِ, if you want to count the blessings of God Almighty Allah, لَا تُحْصُوهَا, you can't count them, you can't record them. But why don't you see them? إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ لَظَلُومٌ كَفَّارٌ. You are so ungrateful. You look at the negative and forget about what the positive. You focus on what problems instead of focusing to see the challenges. Be the gold digger. When you come closer to the rock, then you celebrate. When you come closer to any challenge and problem in life, as a Muslim, you are to celebrate, because you know that in ma'al usri yusra. Together with every challenge, there is what? A solution. So you look at the opportunities, you look at your threats, the problems within your environment, the potential obstacles, and the potential threats. Imam Ghazali said that you can classify them under 4. Number 1 is Satan. Number 2 is your own soul. Number 3 is your social environment, the people around what? You. These days, not only physical, even on what? Your telephone. On what? Your social media platforms. Then he said that number 4 is the love for this world. The love for materialism. The love for this world. These are obstacles. These are threats to the achievement of your vision. Scrutinize them well. After SWOT analysis, move to what we call target determination. You are going to determine your target. Break your visions and goals down to target. Daily target, weekly target, monthly target, annual target. And it is the annual target that you are to present to God Almighty Allah on the night of Laylatul Qadr, as God Almighty Allah also presents His own to what? The angels, so that you can pray to God Almighty Allah to see whether perhaps there can be changes to accommodate what? Your vision. There can be changes to accommodate what? Your strategy. There can be changes to accommodate your plan, because Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, in your language and your psychology, Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, "La yaruddul qada'a illa du'a." There is nothing that can change destiny. There is nothing that can change what is to be brought on Laylatul Qadr to the angels, to the rest of them, except dua. And I want you to use the alphabet, use your strategies and your target and your goals as alphabets to code your prayers when you are praying to God Almighty Allah, and see the changes that will happen to you in this particular Ramadan, after Ramadan. So you determine your target and you determine the time frame, that is what? The year. You move on to look at the resources that you will need to do that one. Move on to look at the activities, what you will be using the resources to do. You move on to draw what we call a timeline. Each of the resources, what am I going to use it to do? At what time am I going to? A very difficult thing to do. The guidelines to design and develop a very effective timeline and strategy, you find it in the chapter 3 of my book. Then you move on to look at how you are going to evaluate and examine yourself. Ensure that the habit that you are going to develop in this particular Ramadan as tahajjud, you use that one to be a core source of evaluating yourself. Extend it to your salah. Use ablution to evaluate yourself daily. What your hand has done towards the achievement of your vision, what your eyes have done, what your mouth has done, what your legs have done, what your mind, what is inside your mind as you wash your head. What have you heard today? You ensure that you use ablution for introspection and for guidance and for seeking for forgiveness from Allah Azza wa Jalla, and for planning, so that in between prayers you know what to do. A Muslim is the one who always knows what to do at each hour, each day, each minute, each second. An unplanned time is a gift that has been handed over to Satan. Definitely other things like football, definitely other things like politics, definitely other unnecessary things. Investment of your time in the unnecessary celebrities who have nothing to do with the development of your nation. Investment of your time in football clubs that has nothing to do with what? Your nation. Chelsea is playing, and in Ghana over here, almost 5 million of our youth are spending 2 hours of them. We should have sent them to the block factory to see what they would have done for the nation, if indeed we want to build the nation. But it is as a result that we don't think about our time. Definitely, everybody, each time, we shall be held accountable for that one. So you do your timeline, and then you establish a natural way of monitoring your progress, evaluation, examination, and monitoring of what? Your progress. Then you move on to grade your vision and grade your goal, break your distance. Sometimes when you finish, you look at the resources that you need, almost all of them, you don't have them. Grade your resource down to what you have, because Allah says He has already given you something. He has given you the mind, He has given you the heart, He has given you the body, He has given you at the time. So ensure that you activate them so that Allah Azza wa Jal will add you more. If you activate them in obedience to God Almighty Allah, Allah has promised you that وَإِذْ تَعَذَّنَ رَبُّكُمْ لَئِن شَكَرْتُمْ لَأَزِيدَنَّكُمْ وَلَئِن كَفَرْتُمْ إِنَّ عَذَابِي لَشَدِيدٌ. Once you are grateful to Allah, you use the basic inherent resources He has given to you, your mind, in obedience to Allah, not in watching and analyzing pornographic pictures and unnecessary news on the social media. Use your mind well. Use your heart well. Don't invest it in unnecessary things. Use your soul very well. Use your body and see what Allah will do to you. Money is the least resource. Money is the least. In my book, I have analyzed primary and secondary resources and tertiary resources. To your surprise, money is not part of them. But make use of the primary resources. Wallahi la azidannakum. God says He will increase you. Make use of them.